He robbed me of a daughter-in-law that I could torture, that I could literally torture.
That is.
I know, but that's just how I am, Dakota. I'm just being honest with you. And I told you that he robbed me of a daughter-in-law, of the typical family, grandkids. And I know he said he's going to have grandkids, and God knows I can't wait.
Hi lovelies, welcome back to the channel. Thank you all for tuning in once again. Now, on my previous video, we spoke at length about mama's boys. Yeah. So on today's video, we're going to be looking at another aspect of mama's boys, and that is the so-called monster in-laws. I mean the mother-in-laws that are toxic, that are very possessive of their sons, that take being the boy mom to another level. And I don't mean in a good way. If not all of us, at least most married women have experienced these types of women. Yeah, some women are very lucky to have very good mother-in-laws, very mature and sweet mother-in-laws that they could mistake for their moms sometimes. But today I want us to expose those mother-in-laws that would not let go of their sons and sometimes would extend hate and jealousy onto their sons' wives and girlfriends. From the first clip, you can see that some women deliberately are wicked to their daughters-in-law just for the fun of it.
I don't think a lot of men realize that their mother is in love with them.
Ooh, girl, this right here. Not so much that she's in love with him, more so she's in love with the control and domination that she has established his entire life. If she's treating you with hostility, it's because she sees you as a threat, which is why she acts territorial and is trying to manipulate him and the whole family against you. Unless, of course, she sees you as malleable and easily conforming to her will as well. That is the only type of woman that will ever be accepted by her. And you know what? No, it's not his fault. Okay, it's not his fault. However, it is absolutely his responsibility to identify this toxic behavior and manipulation that his mother is exerting over his life. I mean, that is the defining characteristic of a man, right? That they are able to be free thinking, autonomous individuals, right? So this, in my opinion, is what the Bible is referring to when it talks about a man leaving and cleaving. Right? It's not just referring to the physical environment of leaving his parents' home and relocating with his new boo. Now, that ain't what it's talking about. It's referring to his ability to transition psychologically from a boy to a man. I ain't saying he ain't the one. I'm saying that you're about to find out what he really is and whether or not you're willing to accept it. Because I don't care who it is. If someone is treating you poorly and your man is defending them, it's a problem.
You ever date someone so far up their mom's ass you start to wonder if there's even room for you in the relationship? Yeah, I married that. He was the ultimate mama's boy. I mean, no boundaries, no spine, no sense of independence. His mom would literally crawl into bed with us. That is so weird. I once watched her pop his ingrown hairs from, down there. I really wish I was exaggerating. I'm not. His family ruined our wedding. Like, actually ruined it. I spent my wedding night crying on a bathroom floor while my husband sat there, silent, because God forbid he upset mommy. And that was the moment I realized I wasn't married to a man. I was married to a boy with a mother-shaped leash. Sadly, I didn't divorce him for another 2 years. That's a whole other story. But from the moment the wedding happened, I knew the relationship wasn't going to work deep down. And now my biggest stick? A mama's boy. Never, ever, ever again will I date a mama's boy.
Let me tell you a secret about the monster-in-law that you don't know, but you should know. That monster-in-law or mother-in-law has her own issues that she didn't deal with, which is probably the reason why her son is a narcissist. By the way, narcissism goes both ways. It can be a it can be a woman or a man. I'm speaking from a woman's perspective. Most mothers to narcissistic people don't like their kid's spouse. But because I'm talking from a woman's perspective, I'm going to say most narcissistic mothers don't like their son's spouses, whether it's a boyfriend, a fiance, worse yet, a wife. Many reasons for this, but I'll give you a few. The first reason is that she feels resentful, even though she doesn't know you. She doesn't know how you were born, raised, grew up, read, whatever. She feels resentful towards you because there is something in you that she didn't do or didn't see in herself when she was probably your age. She let a lot of ish slide during her time, and she feels like you have it easy.
Can you imagine a mother admitting on national TV that her son robbed her of the opportunity to torture her future daughter-in-law? You've not even seen her. So all your life you've just been planning. Like, that's a woman that is bored. That's a woman that has no life outside of her son and feels the need to make another woman unhappy. It's only unhappy people that would feel the need to make another person feel bad and feel unhappy in their own homes. They cannot seem to wrap their head around the fact that another woman would come and replace them. Yeah, because in their heads, they don't see their sons the way they're supposed to see their sons. They see their sons as the replacement for their romantic partner. And that's why they would be jealous of their daughters-in-laws. They would be jealous that another woman is coming to take their place in the lives of their sons. Forgetting that the role of a mom is entirely different from the role of a romantic partner. It's just giving incest, because no normal mom would feel the need to fight for attention with your supposed daughter-in-law. Because the two relationships are different, entirely different. And for me, this is why I would always say, as a woman, have your life together before having kids. Because you would end up being a toxic boy mom who cannot let go of her kids, who cannot let her kids thrive in their life. In your head, you think your kids owe you happiness, some sort of fulfillment or whatever. Your kids are your accomplishment. Your kids are supposed to make you happy. No, it's wrong. It's wrong. I believe a woman is supposed to have her life together, have her happiness in check, and before she has a kid, because you're traumatizing your kids if you depend on them for happiness. If you're so attached to your child that you cannot let go.
So weird experience. I had a toxic boy mom basically admit that her and that whole group are going to treat their future daughter-in-laws like crap. So we were discussing like fears as parents and stuff. And this group of boy moms, and reminder, there's a difference in a mother of a boy and a boy mom. And group of boy moms were all talking. The one initially said it, and then they were all agreeing with her, talking about their biggest fears. They're never going to see their grandchildren because they only have boys. And despite the fact that I have two boys, I don't have that fear at all, for good reason. And then they started explaining. They're like, oh yeah, because the daughter-in-laws always keep the kids from the mother-in-law. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, that's not really how that works. That's only if you treat them like crap. And then as they elaborated more about like this fear and stuff, they're like, oh yeah, some woman's going to come in and scoop up my baby and she's never going to let me see my grandkids. Yeah, you're just, all you're doing is telling me that you're going to treat your future daughter-in-law like crap. I'm not worried about this at all, because one, I'm not going to treat my future daughter-in-law like crap. Two, my oldest has had a wife since the day she was born. He picked her out. They're attached at the hip. They have been like that. His birthday is about to come up. They've been like that for 10 years. Me and his future mother-in-law, who have been friends since we were like 4, are already planning how we're going to split the holidays and stuff. Not to stereotype, but I'm not so sure that I'm going to get grandchildren from my youngest, though, because the way he be looking at firefighter commercials and like the Old Spice commercial, he will shove you out of the way. If you get in the front of the screen with an Old Spice commercial or any commercial that has like a buff man on it. So I don't know what's going on there. Obviously we love him unconditionally, but like I'm not expecting, I'm not going to get my hopes up. Okay, if it happens, it happens. I'm going to have grandchildren or I'm not. Kids are way too young for me to be worrying about this, but these moms were genuinely worried about this. There was one girl who's talking about how she's on her 4th pregnancy. This woman is pregnant right now, trying to get a girl just so she can have grandkids, because she's convinced she's never going to be around her grandkids. And I ended up talking to them, and I'm having these conversations, and I would think that they would understand what I'm saying, because I was like, well, how does your mother-in-law? I'm like, how often do you guys go see your mother-in-law? And they admitted that they rarely see them. And then they start talking about their experiences with their mother-in-law and how the mother-in-law treats them like crap and how they don't go over there because of that. And I'm like, wow, see, like if your mother-in-law treated you nicely, wouldn't you go over there more often and stuff? And they're like, well, yeah. And I'm like, see, that's all it takes. Like, how are you? You're walking through the solution. You are looking at the answer. You were looking at the answer, still not getting it. And they kept talking about how they couldn't possibly grasp somebody coming and taking their baby boy, though. We're talking about when these kids are like in their 20s and stuff. They're like, oh yeah, but it's my baby for life. And don't get me wrong, my kids are always my babies. But one day they are going to be grown men, because I'm raising them to eventually be grown men, not man-child. So I don't have this fear that apparently a lot of boy moms have this fear. But it's a simple solution. Just don't treat your daughter-in-laws like crap. Like, I would never lay my hands on my kids as kids, but if when they're grown men and I ever get a call from their girlfriend, wife, whoever, or boyfriend or husband or whatever, and they say that one of my sons laid my hands on me, baby, you are a grown adult now. It's fair game. And you better hope the cops show up first, because I'm gonna beat your ass first. It's in the DV playlist. Look at the hundreds of comments of women being like, yeah, whenever my ex was abusing me, the mother-in-law always sided with him. Was like, oh, but that's my baby. You must have provoked him or something. No. Like, while my sons would never, they are being raised better than that. If they ever lost damn mind and tried it, my future daughter-in-law knows she can call me and I am going to take care of the problem myself. Once again, I would never lay my hands on them while they're children, but when they're adults, if they do some like that and they think it's okay to lay their hands on their partner, I'm going to be fixing it myself. Grown adult to grown adult.
It's clear as day that that's a good mom right there, a self-aware mom, a mom that understands what parenting is. For me personally, I think when you know you're a good parent is when your kids at least still have a bit of fear for you, no matter what, like even in adulthood. Like when your kids know you stand on business all the time. Like, I'm not saying being a violent parent or whatever, but like you're supposed to instill some sort of fear for you in your kids forever, that when they mess up, no matter how big they are, your voice and your words would always call them to order. Like, they would, once they hear your voice, they would know what time it is. Like, and everybody behaves themselves. Like, that's a mom right there, and that's what parenthood should be. And not you wanting love and attention from your kid, or wanting your kid to make you feel good about yourself. You're the parent, for crying out loud. It really annoys me when parents don't know how to parent seriously. Because if you know you're a weak person and you're not caught up for the job, why did you volunteer? Because for me, it's volunteering. Why did you volunteer to be a parent? Why did you have kids? Parenthood is not beans and rice. It's not an easy task. So if you're not equipped, if you're not well equipped and prepared for the job, don't do it. Because if you've not learned over time to regulate your emotions, if you know you're not emotionally mature enough, why have kids? You're not ready to have kids. Because else you're going to be depending on your kids to be your emotional support, which is wrong. As a parent, you're supposed to be your kids' emotional support and not the other way around. And that's how immature people just become parents and, turn out to raise immature boys, emotionally immature boys that they control their life, that they're going to be involved in their life, that they're going to tell what to do forever, that they would not let be functioning grown adults. Parenthood is not for kids. Parenthood is for mature individuals.
Run away if the man you're dating or seeing has a mother who's more of a wife to him than a mother. My darling, let me tell you this relationship tip. Being there for your son, caring for him is normal as a mother, but making him act as the role of your husband that should have been your husband's is not normal. You will always see these boy moms who have too much attachment to the point you almost feel like, is that a motherly attachment, or are you getting the love you don't get from your partner, your husband, from your son? Kind of attachment. When you see these in the early signs, it could be they're not happy that you're going on a date with her son, or they're not happy that the son has made you come over to their home. There will be signs. When you get the first sign, run away as fast as you can. These kind of men are so sadly, deeply rooted in being the service for their mothers who never got the love from their own husbands, from the son's father, that they always will have the struggle of emotionally detaching from their mother's crazy, obsessive, not motherly love. Okay? These my moms are the biggest red flag you can ever have in your relationship. So the first sign you get, you got to run, because if you're tangled with these kind of mothers, these kind of mother-in-laws, you're going to be in deep soup, because they will never realize what they're doing. They will never realize they're getting the unfulfilled love from their partner, from their sons. And that is absolutely sad.
So which one do you think is the bride and which one do you think is the mother-in-law? You boy moms are never beating these allegations. Like, why would you show up to your son's wedding trying to outdo the bride? I don't understand. Why do they do that? It's giving, I want to marry my son. And the fact that the mother-in-law's dress, it's like more sparkly, she has more accessories, like the tan, lipstick, God. It shows that she is intentionally trying to outdo the bride, because the bride has a more classic, clean, simple, timeless look, and she's super blinged out and bedazzled. Like, what? I am honestly surprised that the mom is not wearing a veil. Girl, good luck in your marriage, because if your mother-in-law is gonna show up like this to your wedding, I just know your man doesn't stand up for you. And then the mother-in-law is in her own comment section talking about, I don't know why everybody's so upset. I think I look great. Why is this a big deal? Girl, be so fucking for real.
What? When you're a boy mom and you know one day some girl is going to come and snatch up the work of art you raised to be the perfect man, and then she won't let you come over without calling first. Anyone else feel this way? Am I the problem? Yes. Oh my god, So there's this thing called emotional incest, which happens when a parent or caregiver relies on a child for emotional needs that an adult relationship would usually provide. And they may behave like the child is a love life partner. Satire, hopefully, it doesn't say anything like that. First off, you're talking about your son, not your partner. Secondly, you don't own your children. So when you say somebody's gonna like snatch him away, that implies that you he belonged to you in the first place. Stop relying on your kids to meet your emotional needs. Like that, oh my gosh, I give the heebie-jeebies. Should you not want your child to grow up and find somebody and fall in love? If you are actively hoping that your child spends the rest of their life alone so that you can continue to get your emotional needs met from them, absolutely not. Seek help.
Mothers that are creepishly obsessed with their sons are going to be toxic mother-in-laws. And you can't convince me otherwise. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a boy mom myself, and I love my little boy. But I'm talking about the ones that are like, my son is the one that showed me real love. I don't need a man because I have my son. I've even seen some mothers go as far as calling their sons. Not only is that weird, but it's also emotional incest. And it can even be confusing for the sons. The love that we have for our sons and the love that they have for us should never be filling a romantic hole in our heart. We should be loving our sons strictly from a maternal standpoint.
I hate boy moms, and I don't mean that I hate women who have sons, but I hate boy moms, and y'all know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. So my little sister is 13. She comes and tells me why my friend get a tattoo? And I'm like, how old is this friend? And she's like, he's 13 too. And I'm like, huh? And then she's like, yeah, he got a half sleeve. It's very big. I said, his mother took him? She said, yeah, it's her name. And I said, what? And then she showed me a picture of it, and literally a half sleeve, his mom's name right there, big as fuck. And it's just like, you would let your 13-year-old child get your name tattooed on them big as fuck. Like, are you dumb? He's dumb, she's dumb. But again, what do you expect from a 13-year-old? But I just feel like taking your 13-year-old to get a tattoo is insane. But to let him tattoo your name on him, it's some boy mom ass shit. I don't care. And she probably was like, oh, you could get it if it's my name. I feel like she probably thought that shit was cute. I know she probably did.
One thing my son's future woman will never have to worry about with me is me being in the way, because some of these boys can't grow up because their mamas are in the way. They can't lean on another woman when you over there cooking and cleaning and doing everything for him. It will not be me. I will not be doing my son's laundry at 30 years old. He will either be doing it or he will be treating a woman good enough so that she will do it for him.
I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this to you. Your sons, your boys, are not a replacement for your husband. No way in my head I see my sons as the love of my life. They're my children, and my husband is the love of my life. And I know that there's other women that don't have husbands or boyfriend, or they're still your sons. They will leave one day. And I'm saying this because I had this conversation with a family member today about how she has to move to the United States and she has to leave her son. She's like, I'm so sad because I have to leave my son behind. And in my head, I'm like, he's 35. You should have leave him like long time ago. He has a girlfriend. And I was like, well, his family will be his wife and his kids. He's like, no, I'm his family. His family comes first, like his siblings and his mom. He's like, no. His wife, his kids are his family. You are extended family. As much as I love my kids, one day they are going to leave, and I know that. I don't call myself a boy mom. I call myself a mother of 2 boys.
Exactly, like this is the major cause of these delusional mother-in-laws that just cannot seem to let their sons be men, be husbands, that have planned on torturing their future daughter-in-laws. These women that just cannot seem to let go of their sons and let them be grown men. Like, it's just an unhealthy obsession with their kids and not wanting their kids to leave them. It's an insecurity on their part, which they've not dealt with. They're scared of loneliness. They're scared to be adults themselves, and that's why they would want their kids to be attached to them forever in an unhealthy way. So yeah, like, we should be conscious of these kinds of behaviors, because I tell you, some of these women that with this unhealthy behavior, they see nothing wrong with their characters. They see nothing wrong with what they do. Some of them don't even know that they're being toxic and unnecessarily overbearing to their daughter-in-laws. Some of them, they just think their sons are their possession. Their sons are supposed to put them as number one. They don't understand that this is toxic behavior and this is unacceptable and it's not supposed to be like that. And this is why, as a woman, you need to have critical thinking. You need to have hobbies. You need to have a life for yourself. So you don't overburden your kids. You don't be dependent on your kids for your happiness. You don't hold your kids hostage and torture everyone else that may want to come into their lives, and not be jealous because you yourself, you're equally going to be enjoying your life. It's very important for women to have a life outside of their kids, outside of motherhood. Else you just become an overbearing mother-in-law, future mother-in-law, overbearing mother, a mom that is very, very much very reliant on her kids. I don't know if any of you have experienced this or have come across this kind of mother-in-laws, or you're married and you're currently dealing with this kind of mother-in-law. Kindly leave in the comments how you're dealing with the situation and how you would advise other women to deal with the situation. Yeah. And on that note, we've come to the end of this video, and definitely I'd love to hear what you'll think down below in the comment section. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel in case you're not subscribed. And I will definitely see you in my next video. Have a blessed day. Bye.